Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
So hi everyone and welcome to another show. Now I'm really excited about today's guest as she's someone who helps entrepreneurs to solve advertising problems so they can create more business opportunities through increased visibility. Born and raised in Barbados, she is a talented literary and theatre enthusiast who has performed and written several pieces. A 2015 graduate of the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus, she has transferred her passion for stage into the business arena and is now both CEO and founder of the Beautifully You campaign and Entrepreneur on Call, E.O.C. Now, E.O.C. is an interview webisode series created to assist entrepreneurs who are on her phone contact list with a chance for exposure. September 2015 saw the completion of season 1, consisting of 12 interviews. Now, our esteemed guest will be heading to Atlanta, USA to complete a 3-month internship with IJU Productions and shoot season 2 of Entrepreneur on Call. Sounds fantastic, and I'm really excited that she's here today to talk with us about some of the problems and some of the obstacles, misconceptions, and even some of the pitfalls surrounding the entrepreneurs she loves to help the most. So please, let's welcome her to the show, CEO and founder of the Beautifully You campaign and Entrepreneur on Call, Danielle Norris.
It's so good to be here with you, Stuart. I'm totally looking forward to this interview.
Briefly, can you just describe who is your perfect prospect, Danielle? Who is it that you help?
Entrepreneurs who have just started their business and want to get more out of their advertising. They want to be able to touch more groups and bring in more business for themselves. Those are the entrepreneurs I'd like to help. Usually first-time small business owners, and they're the people who are usually in need of the most assistance.
So as you're out there consulting these entrepreneurs, can you just briefly go over 2 or 3 common obstacles that you find prevent them from achieving their desired goals?
Okay, the number one obstacle I'd say is the fact that advertising can be expensive. And because of that, entrepreneurs usually overlook their branding, promotion, and advertising investments. That's their first obstacle. The second one would be advertising is key to exposure. But if entrepreneurs don't advertise effectively, they can miss out on big potential business opportunities. Mm-hmm. And the third obstacle, I'd say, is that entrepreneurs are not thriving in their endeavors. I know that's a big one here in the islands, or namely in Barbados. They're usually first-time business owners who decided to just move forward on the skills they have. So they lack a lot of effective developmental programs, opportunities, and support systems to help them raise the caliber of their entrepreneurship and their business so that they can better compete in the markets they enter.
Okay, so when you say there are usually small business owners who just decided one day to start their business because they're like, well, you know something, why should I work for this boss anymore? I can do this on my own. I can start my own business. And they base their business on the skills that they have, but they lack the business acumen. Yeah. So what kind of advice would you give to those people when it comes to the obstacle of advertising their business so that they can get more increased visibility? Can you just touch on that for us, please?
My first piece of advice would be don't panic.
Okay, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah, just don't panic and start to have a plan that focuses in on the key aspect of your business, your vision for your business, and then move from there. Once you start there, once you stop panicking and start to key into what the vision for your business is, you can then start strategizing on how you can go about advertising.
Okay, so In terms of the misconceptions that you come across, Danielle, when you're helping these entrepreneurs, can you just share one or two of those? Let's just crush some of those things that people might have bought into. They may think that, hey, this is the truth, but in reality, when you put it under the spotlight, they're not really true. So can you just go over one or two of those misconceptions that exist out there, please?
Okay. Misconception number one, advertising is not important. That's the first lie they all buy into, or most of them buy into, because they don't understand the value of it.
Now, let me just jump in there. Is it really because they don't understand the value, or is it because they think, why should I spend my money on that in the first place?
Which is an indicator of not understanding the value of it. If your question for advertising is, why should I spend my money? You've then just decreased the value of advertising in your eyes. It's very important, and it is worth the investment, because advertising is how your clientele will get the chance to see you, how you can get more business and promote your business even further. So definitely advertising is key, and it is important.
Okay. Can you expand any further on that for us, please, Danielle?
Okay. So if I've just started a business, let's say I sell pillows, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job with my pillows, and I just touch base with my immediate friends and family. And, friends and family would support you to some degree, if not, if not all of them, and they buy all my pillows, and they go like, okay, if people are actually purchasing my pillows, I need to get more people. But I'm just going to go on the fact that I just made them for a couple people. I'm going to hope that other people see those pillows in their homes and they'll link them to me. And that's the only form of advertising you do, which is called more word of mouth or hearsay. And then you get no more customers, period. That is because you never expanded your advertising past your immediate test market. I call that a test market, really, because you've tested to see if people are interested in your product and your friends and family did purchase. Now you have to expand past that and start to get into other areas where people can now see your pillows, and you could even get more of your friends and family to refer your pillows. Now you have to go to them and ask them if they like them, what did they like about them, if they'd like to refer them to someone. You now have to push your advertising further than that test market. So it's very important if you want to touch more areas to get more business.
So any other further misconceptions before we move on then, Danielle?
Yes, I'd actually like to just name two more, really.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Misconception number 2 is that all advertising is expensive. The biggest lie of them all.
Let's squash that one. Go ahead.
Yes. Advertising is actually so inexpensive. You can actually advertise for absolutely no money. For $0 and 0 cents, you can advertise your own business, product, or service. There are a good few ways to do that, but you can start with social media. I've done it. I know so many people who've done it. Also, social media is so effective in allowing you to start advertising and pushing your advertising just through starting a page on Facebook. It's amazing. Or even on YouTube. A third misconception I'd have to say is that advertising is not worth the investment. It really is worth the investment.
And why?
Investments tend to do this thing where when you start an investment, it doesn't necessarily pay you back the very same time. The worth of it is sometimes not immediate. It can take some time. Like bonds, you get the benefit of it years later when it's matured. Same thing with advertising as an investment. You could advertise today and probably get a client while you advertise, or you can advertise today and like months down the line is when you start to get more clientele from where you've advertised. So it's definitely worth the investment, and not to look at it from only the point of view as, okay, if I put X amount of money into advertising, I should get back X amount of money at the same time. You may actually get from that money investment, advertising money investment, you might get referrals and not necessarily money cash in your hand. So you have to see the referrals as a form of money in and of itself, just in a different form.
So in terms of the pitfalls that exist out there for the entrepreneurs who you work with who are looking to increase their visibility through using advertising, and they're thinking, Danielle has given us some good advice here. I'm going to go out there and try it and do this. What are some of the pitfalls that they need to be aware of?
Okay, pitfall number one is for the entrepreneurs who have not started advertising. And their first pitfall would have to be missed or limited business opportunities due to lack of visibility. Now, what they're going to find is that they're going to have drop-offs in business or decrease in new client referrals, which is basically based on the example I just gave about the pillows. Now, if you aren't going to advertise, you're going to start to see a decrease in how much business comes to you. So you already get an indication that, okay, I'm not getting as much business as I need to be. That's for the entrepreneurs who don't advertise. For the ones who do advertise, though, their pitfall could be irrelevance or misunderstanding in the market. Now, it's very important that whoever you go to get advertising from for your business, they make it clear and that it is not inconsistent, misleading, or outdated. It has to articulate fully the focus of your business, product, or service. That is very important. Messaging is all a part of advertising, and you don't want your business to have a messaging that is not in line with the focus or the vision for your business. It can lead everything out of whack.
Let's talk about some of the fears that the people who you help, what are some of the fears that they have about attempting to achieve their desired outcomes of gaining more visibility for their businesses then, Danielle?
I think common fear would be empty investment. That's the biggest one. Like, if I'm going to spend this money in this product, I have to see equal or exceed the returns of the investment. That's a huge fear, and I can understand that. As a small business owner, I understand that our budgets will break or make us, so we have to be very cautious, not cautious, but smart as to how we spend our money. But know that advertising is more of an investment than anything else. So, once you've done it well, it can actually work for you. So it won't be an empty investment. Another fear is that they think they can't compete in advertising. Oh, wow. This is a biggie. Just because we're small business owners doesn't mean we have to only think small in the market. I know we have bigger, conglomerates and entities that have more manpower and financial power to support their marketing and their advertising. But for us, we can actually just take concepts from them and push our small business in the niche markets we have and actually touch all of our niche market with those same concepts. So just because you're a small business doesn't mean you can't compete big time.
Do you have an example of a company that you may have worked with or an individual that you may have worked with who thought that, I'm too big, I'm too small, to compete even in advertising, so why should I bother? Do you have any examples of that?
I'll give you more of an observation that I realized with two companies here on the island of Barbados. It's really interesting. I'll call one company F and the other company L. So F is the small company. They're both into internet service providing, right? So F is the small company. L is the large conglomerate company. And L has probably been doing well in the island for a good, 20 years maybe. And F just started, let's say it's about 5 years old, and it just got on the scene. Now, what F did was take their advertising just to the most amazing level. They did it through their people, the ones who worked with them. So they all had on the shirts with the F logo on it. They actually came out to your homes and introduced themselves as a new service provider and asked people if they'd be interested in trying it. They gave away a whole lot of great discounts. Like, I know when I started with F, I had a discounted price on my internet service bill. So all of those things F started to do, even while L still had the majority of people with them. Would you believe in a matter of time, probably a year or two, L wanted to buy over F, and they actually did merge, and now L has F as their branding. So there's
Wow.
no more L, F is their branding. I mean, that's the power of advertising and being a small business competing in a pool that may have some big competitors, but your advertising can still make a way for you. That's amazing to me.
So I guess being small, one of the advantages of being a small entity is you have more flexibility, right? In terms of when you're wanting to move and make changes and try new things. There is only one person who's going to make that decision. That's you, the business owner.
That's
or maybe there's a partner, as opposed to a huge conglomerate where you have to go through the board and, there's just this whole process of best practices, and it just moves very, very slowly. So I think it's great that you brought up that common fear of not being able to compete with advertising because you're a small company. I think that's great. There is one other fear that I would like to just ask you about, because it's something that I hear from a lot of business owners, regardless of, whether it comes to advertising or any other aspect of business. One of the biggest fears they have is, and I just want to ask you if you've come across that and what your opinion is on that, is they have a fear of what people will think about them. So when I think about the people who you work with, do you have the experience that they have this fear of what will people think about me if I start to advertise and get my name out there, and all of a sudden I'm not this small guy, I'm appearing to be much larger than I am? Does that happen? And if so, what would you say to those kinds of people?
My, that's a good thing. Oh, that's a good thing. You can use that to your advantage. Now, I can understand people being very self-conscious about going forward with their business and promoting their business, because now you have to deal with other people coming at you saying, really? Can you really provide that service? But you're just a small business. How could you do that?
Right.
People approach you with disbelief, and sometimes they might criticize your work and so on and so forth. But see all of that as part and parcel of advertising and growing your business and becoming more experienced and raising your caliber of business. Those things will come. We actually cannot dictate how people will see you or will feel about your business or your advertising. We can't, unfortunately. But we can move forward confident in what we are doing, knowing that we can provide what we say we can provide. And that is going to be what is really going to change people's minds. Now, when the naysayers come to you and they go like, no, I don't think you can do that, and then you prove them wrong by producing what you advertised you said you'd produce, then they have to change their minds or they have to change their opinions. So move forward smartly and forget about the naysayers for a while.
Okay, great advice. So, again, with reference to the people you help, these people you have this passion around helping to gain more visibility through advertising. I mean, this sounds like an obvious question whenever I ask this, but I got to ask it anyway. Why would they want to even achieve that outcome of gaining more visibility for their business?
So what consumers want? I mean, myself as a consumer, I don't know if this goes for you, but you can let me know. What consumers tend to want are ways to connect with whatever the business, product, and service is being offered by entrepreneurs. We want to feel like it's a part of us and we are a part of it. Like we contribute to them and they contribute to us. Now, entrepreneurs have the chance to be more personable in their approach to advertising, which is key, which is like mixing business with a human touch. So they have the opportunity to maybe offer coming out to your home services and actually like engaging with their customer and engaging with the customer's family and getting to know their dog so their dog doesn't bark at them when they come at the house, and all those different ways to make marketing and to make business more personable to the customer. They feel like they can trust you. and they can trust your word. That is exactly what entrepreneurs need, that people touch. So from that kind of advertising, entrepreneurs have the ability to build deeper business relationships with their clientele. And that hopefully means better and long-term business. And then the referrals can start to come from there. So if I've just started my company and I went out to my first customer and I did a great job and I have a good relationship with that customer, more than likely that customer will feel the need or will be looking around for opportunities and ways to refer people to me because they like me so much and they enjoyed my service. So that's exactly what entrepreneurs would want to achieve from their advertising outcomes.
Okay, Danielle, it's been a really good interview so far, and you've shared some really great information. We now know who it is that you help, and who you have this natural and this huge passion to help solve their problems of gaining more visibility for their business. You spoke about some of their most common obstacles and the popular misconceptions they may have bought into. You even went as far as speaking about some of the pitfalls they need to be aware of, some of the fears you also addressed, the fears that hold them back, as well as some of the emotional and logical reasons that you just mentioned as well. So now that we know all of that, let's talk a little bit about your solution. What is it exactly? Does it have a name? Does it have a brand? In other words, what made you come up with this idea, and what inspired you to help the kinds of people that you work with today? So in short, because I know that was about 357 questions in one sentence. Okay. In short, give us a little bit about your backstory and how that links to what you're doing today. Please go ahead.
Wonderful questions, Stuart. And I love to share this story. May 1st this year, actually, I had just finished university and I was looking to get some headshots done very quickly and I needed to send them off to one of my mentors. And I needed to get these photos as quickly as possible. So I quickly go to my phone and I call up my photographer, a good friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time. And I go like, okay, I need X, Y, and Z done. And he goes like, okay, see me tomorrow. This time we actually did the photo shoot in 15 minutes and got the shot. By the time I had gotten home, I think it was like 4 hours later, I received the edited photos in my email. That's less than 36 hours that I got exactly what I needed. And I was so blown away by that service, Stuart. I was just completely flummoxed by it because I felt like that was superb service. And I even got it at a discounted price.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So from there, I was sitting down. I was like, how could I show my friend and my photographer that I appreciate his business, his skill, and his professionalism? And sure enough, Entrepreneur on Call was the idea that I came up with. So I decided to interview all the entrepreneurs, all the small-time entrepreneurs I had on my phone, just in my contact list, and I ended up having quite a few. And just giving them that moment to expose their business to the general public. So I already had a YouTube channel and I also had a Come See TV channel. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to put the show onto both of those channels and media platforms to extend how much people actually see it. Come See TV has a viewership of about 11 million. So the opportunities for the entrepreneurs I were interviewing had super growth attached to them. And that's what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be the person who people come to and go like, hey, Danny, I need a photographer for this reason. Do you have any? And I actually know about 4 or 5 photographers I could refer to you, depending on what price you're looking for and what kind of feel you're going for in your photography. And I just always wanted to be that person. So I decided to link my desire to do that, to refer business, to Entrepreneur on Call, to build up entrepreneurs.
Awesome. So reaching that point of the interview, Danielle, we're running out of time. It's been really good being able to spend this quality time with you and listening to some of the insights that you've shared today. Now, if there is somebody who's actually listening to the show and they're thinking, this Danielle, she sounds like she knows what she's talking about. I've got a small business. I'm interested in advertising. I want to know more about how can I get more visibility for my business. So if that's the case, if there are individuals out there, if there are even organizations out there, or maybe even an event organizer that wants to bring you in to do some speaking or some presentations, if that's the case, then Danielle, how would they be able to get hold of you? Where would they find you?
You can just email me. I respond to my emails right away. Email me at Dani Norris, DanienNorris @gmail.com. Or you can also send me an email through the BU campaign @gmail.com.
Can you just repeat that one again, just a little bit slower?
Sorry, the BU campaign @gmail.com.
Great. And I'll ensure that their contact details go alongside the show notes on the website when it goes live. Danielle, thank you so much for your time. Before we go, Danielle, do you have any final thoughts for the listeners?
Have a vision for your advertising based on the focus for your business, whether it's through flyers or vlogging or picture libraries. Just have a vision for how you want to go about advertising. 2, from your vision, build an advertising strategy. Think about who your market is, what engages them, how can they get assistance for going forward to advertising. Number 3, have a budget. And like I said before, your budget can start from $0. Find a cost-effective way to start advertising. That's through social media, sponsors, or giveaways. You can do keychains, badges. You can even enter online competitions. All those things help. Look to be a part of a group or program that can offer advice on advertising solutions. That's so important. Ask some questions to see what help is out there for you to better you. Be consistent, but be flexible. As the markets and the times change with them, but don't compromise the focus of your business. And last but not least, don't be afraid to try. Just get out there and try and test your market to see what works and what doesn't work. That'll be my last point.
Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, time to say goodbye. That was Danielle Norris, CEO and founder of the Beautifully You campaign and Entrepreneur on Call. This was Stuart Andrew Alexander saying take care, thank you, and we will talk real soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.